Melbourne Victory has got a few sanctions for these coming years in the A-League. No active crowds, fines, possibly losing points in case of further supporter issues. Also, they will replay the game against City starting from the 22nd minute with the scoreboard 1-0 for City. I hope Melbourne Victory could rebrand itself and the experience and offer a safe and enjoyable matchday experience to its supporters. The league needs it. We have arrived to the round 12 in the A-League. All teams have played against each other at least once, and now is the return. I'll show you an analysis of all matchups in this round and my predictions for each game. Stick with me because at the end I'll also show you what I'm betting based on the analysis. Okay, so now let's talk about football. MacArthur Bulls and Central Coast Mariners open the round. This is a 6-pointers game ahead, and the Bulls are in the 4th place in the ladder and the Marines are the 2nd. MacArthur has an opportunity to show that they can beat a higher ladder teams at home, but faces the best attack in the competition. Central Coast Mariners hasn't had a great form playing away, but is a strong opponent. The data indicate that both teams are fairly similar. In terms of average scoring, MacArthur has 1.4 versus 1.67 for Central Coast Mariners. But in goals conceded, MacArthur takes 0.8 and Mariners 1 per game. Arabuli is the top scorer for the Bulls this season and maybe the best hope for goals. It's also important to note that the Bulls haven't conceded a goal in the last 3 games at home. Jason Cummins, the Cum Dog, is the Mariners' top scorer so far, and he's always a dangerous against opponents, as well attacking players like Samuel Silveira and Marco Tulio. Let me also bring up that Mariners' only loss away was against the leader recently, so they won't give out points too easily. As this game is a must-win for both teams, and they can finish in the top 2, I believe MacArthur may play slightly more offensive, and Central Coast will use counterattacks to score. But both teams are similar, so perhaps a draw could come out of it. 1-1. Brisbane Roar versus Wellington Phoenix starts the Saturday games. Brisbane just lost their unbeaten streak early this week, but still 4 games unbeaten at home. Phoenix is 3 games unbeaten playing away with 2 draws and 1 win. In terms of data, Brisbane Roar has scored and conceded 0.83 goals per game on average. They also conceded a goal in the last 3 games at home and in 3 out of the last 5. Brisbane Roar Draw Club has had so many draws this season that it makes hard to predict if they would win or lose a match. Wellington Phoenix has different data, scoring 1.25 and conceding 1.5 goals per game. They have been playing quite strong lately considering their last opponents. Bozda Kraev is a top 3 goal scorer of the A-League, and he's definitely bringing some danger to Brisbane. This is a game of 2 teams who draw the most in the competition so far, so something's telling me that this is likely to happen again. 1-1 and both teams sums a point in this round. Melbourne Victory goes to Adelaide from the original rivalry also on Saturday. Adelaide United is the 6th position now and Victory is the last on the ladder. Other than the sanctions, Melbourne Victory has been struggling on the pitch, especially after round 5. The data puts Adelaide as a better team in the original rivalry. They score 1.5 per game and concede 0.5 goals on average, while Melbourne Victory scores 0.83 goals on average and concedes 1.33 goals when playing away. Adelaide United has had a poor performance in the last 5 games overall, but has been playing solid at home with 3 wins and 1 loss. Melbourne City is in a terrible moment with 4 losses, only 1 win in the last 5 games, especially because they won only 2 out of 6 away games so far. Craig Goodwin is the main source of Adelaide's goals, and the team really needs him to perform well. Ben Halloran and Ibuzuki also provide offensive support. If those 3 players are on a good day, the opposition has a lot of trouble. Nicolas D'Agostino is still not showing good performance for the Victory and has been hurting their offensive. Melbourne Victory has the worst attack in the A-League right now, and they need to change it ASAP to get back on track. The last encounter was 3-0 for Adelaide, but this time it may be slightly different. I'm backing 2-0 this time because neither teams are in a good form, but Adelaide is still in a better moment to win the original rivalry. Do you see this big QR code in the center? This is the free pass to my community on Telegram. Scan it now or go to predictortalk.com/joycommunity to be part as well. There is a place for talk football 24/7, and we also cover more bets from other leagues. So join in now. Closing the Saturday games, Perth Glory receives Sydney FC for another home game. Perth Glory is facing good form playing with the crowd. They are unbeaten so far. However, they conceded a goal in most of their home games. Sydney FC is currently the second best away team in the competition, with 3 wins out of 5 games, but also mostly conceding a goal. Sydney FC is slightly better according to the data. They score 2 goals and concede 1.6 per game on average, while Glory scores 1.5 and concedes 0.75 per game. Perth Glory shots a bit more than Sydney. It's 11.5 versus 9.2 per game on average. Perth doesn't have a specific player to rely on, but they are most likely to play as a team and create chances regardless of the player. Mustafa Amini, though, leads the team, and David Williams, with some speed, could offer some danger to Sydney. Robert Mack is Sydney's top scorer, followed by Joe Lowley and Lefondre. If they have space to run and pass the ball through, they could create a few clear chances. It's a good game ahead. I can see both teams scoring and a very disputed match, with both teams giving all to get those 3 points. Worth saying that whoever wins this game may end up this round in the top 6. For me, it's 2-1 for Perth Glory, because they have been playing solid at home. On Sunday, Western Sydney Wanderers and Melbourne City make the most interesting game of the round. This is a very good game because it's the 3rd place facing the A-League leader. Here are the facts. Western Sydney isn't facing a good form due to many games away, but their last win was at home. Melbourne City has been in a good form and they only lost 1 game so far and playing away. The data indicate that Melbourne City is slightly better than Western Sydney Wanderers. City scores 2 goals per game and concedes 0.8 goals on average, while Western Sydney scores 1.6 and concedes also 0.8 goals per game. Both teams need around 7 shots to score on average. While Melbourne City counts on McLaren to score, Western Sydney doesn't have a main top goal scorer. So I believe that this game will be very challenging for both teams because their defenses are very solid. In fact, they are the 2 best defenses of the competition. Western Sydney may play for scoring once and protecting the lead at all costs. So I'm backing 1-0 for Western Sydney, and McLaren's record goals in a row will end there. Close the round, Western United receives Newcastle Jets. This is an interesting game because whoever loses it could end in the last position on the ladder depending on other games' results. Currently, Western United is the 2nd last and Newcastle Jets is in the 10th position. The data indicates that Western United is a better team than Newcastle Jets. Western United scores 1.17 per game and concedes 1.5 on average, and Newcastle Jets scoring on average only 0.5 but concedes 2 per game on average. Although Western Sydney has the worst defense of the competition, Newcastle Jets has the worst attack. Yet, Western Sydney issue is a defense. If Léo Lacroix doesn't make mistakes, then Western Sydney is more solid. Milanovic and Prijovic are the top scorers with 3 goals each, and both are dangerous for this game. On the Jets side, Trent Bourguiba and Joshua are the main source of goals, but both together has only 3 goals so far. I think that this game won't be the most technical, but West United's current form is a bit more consistent than Newcastle. Plus, the data backs them up. So for me, it's 1-0 West United. Now I want to show you all the bets I'm placing for this upcoming round. Be mindful that the odds may be different from what you see here. Feel free to copy them to your bet slip, but never, never ever use any money you can't afford to lose. Sports betting has a risk as any other investment, and nobody becomes rich overnight, so always bet responsibly. Subscribe now to the channel and receive the next game's analysis. The space is now open for you to share your opinions, and let me know what your predictions are for this game in the comments. And I'll see you soon.